That woman talking about her father getting kicked out of the nursing home? Well, apparently the nursing homes are kicking out their Medicare patients. And she was like, why would they do that? And everyone in the comments was like, honey, this is what you voted for. This is Medicare cuts. This is the big, beautiful bill. And she was like, no, that's not it. Yes, it is. I work in skilled nursing. 90% of the residents that are in there, they are Medicare patients. These buildings stay open because of Medicare. They will close down. They will not care for your aging parents and grandparents for free. They will send them home to you. You will have to quit your job and stay home and take care of them. That means you're going to have to be the caregiver for your father, your husband, your kids. You're going to have to quit your job. You're going to do all this on half the income for your household. This economy is going to suffer greatly when these places start closing down. This is one of the reasons, this is the main reason why I did not want to rely on the U.S. for my income while I'm living abroad. The economy here is bound to crash. When you cut Medicare like that and these places close, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. The dollar is going to suffer. There is no forethought with these people. They have no idea what is happening.
They took her. ICE they showed up and they put her in a van like she was a criminal. My wife, she's gone, man. They sent her back to Mexico like she was nothing.
When did this happen?
Yesterday morning. I woke up, they took her. ICE they showed up and they put her in a van like she was a criminal. My wife.
This is my last political post, okay? I'm gonna lay it to rest. Let me just tell you guys, I'm not crying happy tears. I'm not gonna be apologetic for being excited, because if it was the other way around, all of the Kamala supporters would celebrate. I wanna say that first. I'm very relieved because I voted what I believe in, and I felt heavy on my heart that it's the right thing. So knowing that it was the decision the American people made, I'm relieved and I'm very happy. Very, very happy, okay? It's the very first day of finding out the election results. All of us are happy. I'm very happy. But I'm not going to continue to post about it, but I'm also not going to be sorry about it. And I always talked about how my family, sorry, I don't want to make this more than once. I always talked about how my family had different beliefs, my grandma and my mom and my sister, and how we always got along. And I wore my grandma's sweater to go vote, and I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to cry, okay? But my heart's broken.
Try not to cry.
Yeah, try it. My grandma just sent me a very sad text. It broke my heart. And my mom has yet to text me back today.
Am I real?
My point of making this video is to say that I am very happy, and I expressed how happy I was. And I'm not going to be sorry for that. I'm completely heartbroken that my family is taking it how they are. I never did this to them when Biden won. Never. But I am done with political posts. From here on out, it's back to normal. If you don't like me because of who I voted for and you have to unfollow, go ahead. My own family unsubscribed from my life, so you can too. I promise it doesn't get worse than that.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I hope you are doing great wherever you are watching us from. So let's get into this straight. People voted for a certain politics, cheered for them, defended them online, argue with everybody, and now these same politics are knocking on their own door like, hey, remember me? Yeah, suddenly it's not funny anymore. Now it's not just about politics, now it's personal. And that's really what this whole situation is about. Not just the politics, not just the race, not just left versus right. But what happens when reality hits you after you have been ignoring it the whole time? Because for a lot of people treated serious issues like a game, like something that only affects other people. until it didn't. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share the video to help the channel out. I'll be back soon.
The FAFO moments continue for Trump supporters. Meet a Canadian Trump supporter named Chris Landry. He's lived in New Hampshire since he was 3 years old, and he had a green card since 1981. While vacationing in Canada with his 3 children, he tried to return to the United States, and he was stopped at the border. They questioned him over several misdemeanors that he had, one dating back to 2004. He was held in detention for 3 hours before immigration told him he could not come into the United States and to not come back or he would be detained. This Trump supporter is now stuck in New Brunswick, having to hire an immigration lawyer to fight to get back into the country that he's lived in since he was 3. The State Department commented that a green card is not a right, it is a privilege. This is what this Trump supporter had to say in his own words after this situation.
I was definitely, all for Make America Great Again. Now I feel a little differently.
FAFO.
Last night on CNN showed me that white people are tired too.
They weren't tired in that voting booth. See, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to hold motherfuckers accountable this go around. I understand you, sister, you just like us. All of us, we just want to be one, but we can't. Them people showed their ass in their true colors at them voting polls. We got on here every single day up until it was time to vote and told they asses what not to motherfucking do and what we would get if they did what the fuck we told them not to fucking do. Everything that came out of their mouth that they said would have been lies. Everything that we said would happen is happening. We're going to have to realize that we view everybody as us. They view everybody as them and us. Now that they see that Trump won't benefit them, they're singing a different tune. And to the white people that were singing the same tune as us, thank you. But us as a whole, we will not continue trying to decipher which Caucasian person is for us and which one is not. Not only did you have ancestors that hated us for no reason, you have kinfolk and cousins that still here and do it as well. Then you have neighbors of other ethnicities coming knocking on your door and you open the door and let them join the party. So to that I say, to all my black people that's watching this, they getting held accountable this motherfucking year. We got to stop trying to forget shit.
Hey, it's me here once again, giving my 2 cents, because that's all it's worth. Listen, another one has effed around and found out. It's so sad. There's a woman that sent a letter to an influencer. He's pretty big, and for him to read, because she wanted help getting justice for her son, who was unalive. He wanted to make some friends, and he made some friends with these boys, and they convinced him to, start cussing. That's kids, that's no big deal. And they convinced him to skip school once, and he did. I skip school a lot, so no big deal. But then they convinced him to break into the neighbor's home in the middle of the night to take something that did not belong to him. So the homeowner heard, it's dark. He doesn't know if somebody's in his home with a weapon. He doesn't know that it's kids. He's not asking questions. He's defending his home. So he opened fire, and her son was unalived. The other ones were not. She said that was excessive. That's what she said. That was excessive. And she wanted this influencer to help get her story out so she could get justice for her son. Yeah. I'm sorry that she lost her son. Of course, we never want that pain. But the thing about it is, if you train them. And, we were kids. You know how kids are, all right? But the thing about it is, these new kids, they just do whatever they want to do and think that it's okay and think that they can do whatever they want with no consequences. Teach your children the consequences in the house, so when they go outside the house, they will know consequences and they'll behave better. So she's upset, and the influencer's like, lady, you could have stopped this before it started. You're looking for sympathy and you're looking for justice for your son. But the thing about it is, your son did something he was not supposed to do, which is break into someone's home and take what didn't belong to him And I'm not quite sure what they took. It doesn't even matter. A life was lost. Mothers, stop. Stop with this. Teach your children at home and stop trying to justify their bad behavior, your kids' bad behavior, because that's pretty much what you're doing. Stop. All right? Have a good day.
We voted for Mr. Trump.
Okay, what happened this time?
Mr. Trump, you're supposed to be our hero, man. But I don't understand how this makes any sense for anyone. The Hispanic community is extremely, extremely afraid. There is fear in people's stomachs, and that is not good.
Oh, gee, do you think your vote might have anything to do with that?
We believe that you could change this by tomorrow with your strength and your policy.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. That's like asking Colonel Sanders to stop selling chicken.
We know that you are a builder, you've been in development, and you know that we need our people to build America. Immigrants are the foundation of America. We are all immigrants here in the United States, and we gotta save that American dream. God bless America.
Oh, Mario sounds like he's very upset that his bottom line is getting affected. Because he voted for the guy that ran on mass deportations, but is shocked that those deportations are affecting his business. Typically, you would think people would be happy that they got what they voted for. For example, if I voted in favor of school lunches for kids, and if that policy took place and happened, I'd be really happy. Mario voted for the guy that ran on mass deportations, but is shocked that those deportations are affecting him personally. And it seems like Mario has entered the find out phase of his vote. I genuinely hope that Mario is enjoying his FAFO moment. But anyways, bye.
Let's talk about the Trump supporters that are losing their jobs. Last night I was out in Chicago and these three guys started talking to me and they were all from Naperville. And they asked what I did for work and I said, oh, like I make educational content. And the guy was like, oh, are you one of those like liberals? Like, are you one of those like lefties? And he was so serious. Like he just continued to like mock me and make fun of my content. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave this conversation. And he goes, yeah, it's because of you guys that my mom just lost her job. And I was intrigued. I was like, why did your mom lose her job? What did she do for work? And he goes, oh, well, she was in the military. She's a veteran, but then she was working at this office for the last few years and they just let her go. I look him dead in the face. I'm like, do you think your mom was a DEI hire? Because veterans are a protected class. And now that they don't have to hire her anymore, then they let her go. He goes, that's not true. He doesn't believe me. He looks it up and just the color just like drains from his face. And the guy with him was a research assistant after just graduating from university. And his position was just terminated because of lack of federal funding from the federal government. Which is thanks to fucking Trump. So newsflash, DEI doesn't just mean black people. So in fact, what's happening on a federal level is going to affect you too. You aren't special just because you're white. Carmen's getting them. Okay, bye.
Imagine being a teacher or a principal in a school in a red state, which depends on funding, federal funding from the Department of Education, and still voting for Donald Trump. What am I talking about? Watch.
An analysis found the 15 states that most rely on federal funding for its public schools in 2022 all voted for Trump.
And I voted for President Trump.
I mean, you're an educator. You didn't vote for Trump eliminating federal funds.
No, I did not vote for that. I voted for President Trump to make America first again. If we have
you fell for a slogan.
Cuts, then that's going to mean bigger classroom sizes. I would lose teachers, first and foremost. It's devastating.
I don't think that anyone in our county wants to cut our school funding. I don't think that anyone voted for that.
Do you mind if I ask who you voted for in the election?
I voted for Donald Trump.
We all know and understand that red states, the education is abysmal. That they are always on the bottom of the docket when it comes to test scores, reading levels. They are horrible. And here we have two educators that know that their states, their schools depend on federal funding, depend on them. Yet they didn't bother to do the basic research of what their candidate was going to do. They fell for a slogan. Instead of listening to all the times Trump said he was going to get rid of the Department of Education, that he was going to go after LGBTQ people, that he was going to get rid of DEI, that he was going to do all of these things, and looking at the bills that have been happening in red states, instead of actually doing the minimal bit of research, they fell for a slogan and thought, well, I never thought that this would happen. So I guess these red states are just going to have to pick themselves up by the bootstraps, right? Because they voted for this and now they're getting what they voted for. All my love.
my personal fuck around and find out story and why I think it's actually a great tool to use to deprogram people. I grew up in Christian fundamentalism, and that taught me that my religion always had to be conservative Republican, and that basically if I didn't vote conservative Republican, I would go to hell for eternity because I would be like causing the new wave of Holocaust in the US, but for the murdering of babies. Anyways, I went to a Christian fundamentalist college where I got to vote the first time. I voted while attending my college, and at my college they basically said that we had to vote Republican or we would go to hell, and that Hillary was Jezebel and would ruin our country, and it was all fear. And I had never talked to a Democrat or heard about Democrat policies at all, because I was just raised in this bubble and I was super naive and thought that I knew everything and that Democrats were stupid because I was just told my whole life that they were stupid. So I just rolled with that. Anyway, so I voted for the Orange Man, and I've talked a lot about in different videos this. It's something I deeply, deeply regret. And so I kind of spend my time now saying don't vote for the Orange Man. So I voted for him, and things were fine because I was like in college for a few years while he was in there, and then me and my husband went into the real world, and we both actually got jobs pretty easily and a little apartment pretty easily. We got married, and the economy for us was fine, so I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. And then I started hearing about the families getting ripped across, and when he did the Muslim ban, and I remember I saw a video of this guy crying in the airport about how like he couldn't see his family or go home. It was something, and he was just so sincere, and like he was sobbing, and I am an empathetic person. That's what took me out of that cult, is my empathy. And so I just remember thinking, oh, I fucked up. And then seeing the kids separated from their parents, I'm just like, I fucked up. And then hearing everything he was saying about other people and just like how crazy it was getting, and then I already was like, whoa, I fucked up. And then BLM happened, and I realized I fucked up because I'm like, oh my God, he is so racist. And I already should have known he was racist, but it was like, yeah, I fucked up. And then COVID happened, and the US was just fighting with itself instead of just taking the vaccines because of Trump and all of his stupidness. And I was like, I fucked up. And it took all of those years of realizing that I fucked up to not make that mistake and to leave the conservative Republican movement. And so I do hope that this fuck around and find out also causes other people to leave the movement. But we'll see. Here's hoping.
So on this episode of FAFO, titled, Be Careful What You Wish for Others because Karma's gonna send it right back to you. So here's how this one started. Going from the bottom up, on October 16th, 2024, Billy writes, I'm in Arizona voting for Trump today. And then on January 13th, 2025, in response to this post that says, nearly half of federal employees plan to resist Trump, polls finds, where Billy says, fire every last one of them. Well, let's see how Billy's doing today. On November 16th, 2025, this user posted an interview with Trump where he said the economy is as strong as it's ever been, where the reporter then said, then why are people saying they're anxious about the economy? And Trump responded saying, I don't know why they are saying that. The polls are fake. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. Where Billy decided to chime in and wrote, this guy has completely lost it. He thinks that he's in his first term. I voted for him and got laid off 6 months later. Gas is pushing $4 a gallon out here in Phoenix. We used to eat steak. Now all we can afford is Spam. Ooh, Billy, Karma heard what you initially said about having all those workers fired and decided to send you a layoff. Because Karma's a hilarious bitch and she works in very mysterious ways. But anyways, Billy, enjoy your Spam meals and have the day that you voted for. Bye.
Welcome back. Now let's talk about the whole FAFO situation, because that's really what we are seeing. People F around and now they are finding it out. And look, this isn't even about laughing at people. It's more like, how did you not see this coming? You had politics being explained clearly. You had people warning you over and over again. Hey, this is going to affect healthcare. Hey, this is going to affect immigration. Hey, this is going to affect education. And they respond, relax, it won't be that bad. It won't affect me. They are exaggerating. Now fast forward, a woman is shocked Her father is being pushed out of a nursing home. And people are like, this is literally what you voted for. And that's the uncomfortable part, because it's easy to support something when you think it's only going to hurt other people. It's easy to ignore problems when they are not knocking at your own door. But the moment it hits your family, your job, your life, now it's crisis, now it's unfair, now it's somebody needs to face this. Another example, someone who has been living in the country basically their whole life suddenly can't come back in. And now it's like, wait, how is this happening to me? But the same system that's affecting you now was the same system you supported when it was affecting other people. That's where the disconnect is. And then you have got your own business saying, wait, if these policies go through, my workers are gone. Yeah, that's been the point the whole time. This is what happens when people vote based on vibe, slogans, or just my side versus your side, instead of actual understanding what's being put in place. And there's another layer to this too. And this is where it gets real. For a lot of black Americans, this isn't new. This whole idea of system failing you, rules working against you, being told that's how just it is. That has been the reality for generations. But when it starts affecting different group of people, especially people who never think about it before, now it becomes a national emergency. Now it's trending. Now people are paying attention. And that's where the conversation about performative empathy come in. Because it's not really about the empathy if you care only when it happens to you. That's not awareness, that's reaction. Real empathy is understanding something before it hits you. It's listening when people tell you what they are going through, even if it doesn't benefit you directly. But a lot of people skip that step. And now they are learning the hard way. And honestly, and that's the part that makes people less sympathetic, because it's like you were one, not once, not twice, over and over again. And now everything that was said would happen is happening. It's about accountability. It's about paying attention. It's about understanding that decision, especially big ones, not just disappearing after election. They show up later, sometimes quietly, sometimes all at once. And when they do, you don't get to act surprised forever. So yeah, this whole situation is a lesson, a harsh one, but a real one. Because next time, maybe people will actually listen before things go left. Or maybe not. Well, we'll see. Anyway guys, what do you think about this video? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video to help the channel out. See you in my next video. For now, peace.